In our previous videos, we tested the camera of the vivo X200 Ultra. It delivered impressive performance in both telephoto and ultra-wide-angle photography. The hardware for video stabilization are better, and there are significant improvements in log video recording. However, we didn't talk much about the camera button, the button that is similar to the iPhones. Besides that, I'm more curious about how these two devices, with each different imaging hardware and focal length, will perform differently in real-world scenarios. Before the review, please note if you want to buy the vivo X200 Ultra, Geek Wheels can help with that. The $50 discount will end very soon. So compared to a previous Ultra series products, the vivo X200 Ultra has done a comprehensive upgrade in its imaging hardware and specs. The 1-inch sensor got replaced, the performance of both the main camera and the telephoto lens are enhanced, and the ultra-wide-angle lens has been significantly improved. In contrast, the iPhone 16 Pro has noticeably different specs. Looking at the specs alone, the iPhone 16 Pro has a relatively lower pixel count and infrared optical zoom capabilities compared to the vivo X200 Ultra. But what we really want to know is how they perform in different real-life shooting scenarios. If you enjoy taking portraits and often take photos of people, the vivo X200 Ultra is a better choice. Vivo's algorithm is specifically optimized for skin tone and color enhancement. Even with the beauty mode turned off, it still applies some natural smoothing effect, making the skin look more appealing, though it may lose some facial details compared to the iPhone. The iPhone, on the other hand, keeps more facial details and its skin tone is more true to life in the current environment. However, the iPhone's white balance changes according to the environment, which can sometimes cause a slight shift in skin tone across different focal lengths. The vivo X200 Ultra's rear camera also performs better in portrait photography. Its bokeh effect is truly stunning. At the 35mm focal length, the separation between the subject and the background is natural, with a delicate bokeh, regular light spot shapes, and a uniform distribution. The transition is smooth, without any obvious hard edges. The subject stands out prominently. At the 85mm focal length, the bokeh effect is further enhanced. The background is softened into a more dreamy look, with the subject's contour more highlighted, and a strong sense of dimensions. When shooting portraits, the hair strands are clearly separated from the background and the light spot from a soft halo in the background, enhancing the artistic feel of the image. The iPhone 16 Pro also has a good bokeh effect, but it falls slightly short in terms of the naturalness of the light spots and the delicacy of background blur. At the 35mm focal length, the edges of the subject can appear slightly harsh, especially when there's a strong contrast between the subject's contour and the background color, leading to minor bokeh errors. The 70mm focal length improves the bokeh effect, but compared to the vivo X200 Ultras, it still lags behind in terms of the light spot layers and the gradient effect of the background blur. I feel like the overall style of the photos taken by the vivo X200 Ultra is vibrant, while the iPhone is more plain. When shooting plants, the vivo X200 Ultra tends to increase exposure and saturation. The iPhone 16 Pro also performs well in color reproduction with a more unified color style. However, in some colors, such as deep red flowers, the saturation and accuracy of the color are slightly inferior to the vivo X200 Ultra, but I still don't particularly like Vivo's color style. In outdoor scenes with bright light, we found that the saturation of the photos taken by Vivo was too high. We also noticed the chromatic aberration on the edges of sculptures in the photos taken by Vivo. Even on the edges of some text, the same issue was there. This is mainly due to the lower quality of the lens, combined with the lack of correction in post-processing. To be honest, I prefer the color and texture of the Xiaomi and Oppo, but if you ask why I didn't choose these two phones, I would suggest you find the answer directly from the photos. Vivo sometimes increase exposure to make the image brighter, which can lead to overexposure and higher saturation. Although the image appears more layered, the overall color perception is lacking. The iPhone, on the other hand, has an unstable color performance and is prone to color shifts. We also tested the exposure strategies of the two phones in complex light conditions, day and night. The iPhone 16 Pro tends to suppress more scattered light when dealing with large light sources, and its algorithm can be more aggressive. In contrast, Vivo retains some light sources, making the overall photo look more natural. The Vivo X200 Ultra also supports shooting in RAW format. We took RAW photos with both phones and then used professional post-processing software to lower the highlights and raise the shadows to check the detail recovery. Both phones performed well in terms of clarity, noise levels, and color reproduction. The Vivo X200 Ultra's performance in RAW format is truly impressive. After raising the shadows, the contours of the subject are well recovered, and noise control is excellent. In the log mode test, we chosen an outdoor location with greenery and sunlight, where the light is complex and variable. We shot videos in log mode with both phones and then adjusted the contrast and saturation in post-processing. The iPhone 16 Pro's dynamic range in log mode is outstanding. After color grading, the details in both highlights and shadows are well preserved. The color reproduction is accurate and the image layers are rich. I was surprised to find that the Vivo X200 Ultra also has a good dynamic range in log mode. During the color grading process, the difference between the two phones' video images is not significant. Regarding video stabilization, we compared the two videos. The stabilization effects of both phones are almost identical. Moreover, during camera movements, we found that the image quality of the Vivo X200 Ultra is better than that of the iPhone. Another noteworthy feature is that Vivo's camera button is more convenient than the iPhone's. The position is more reasonable, the response speed and usability are comparable to the iPhone. However, mispress happens all the time. When holding the phone, unintentional touch might result in a few unwanted photos. We all know that the Vivo excels in telephoto portraits and long-distance photography, and I believe both phones have their own strengths and weaknesses. On the iPhone 16 Pro, you can adjust the focal length settings. In terms of photography, I think Vivo is stronger. Whether it's portrait or landscapes, it can capture them perfectly. So, after seeing these sample photos, which one do you prefer? Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget, you can buy the Vivo X200 Ultra from Geek Wheels, link below. This is Will from Gizmochina. See you next time.